It's the holiday season, and I think it's really important to remind all of us that despite what our culture and society tells us, the holidays do not have to be stressful if we do not want them to be. I think it's worth noting that because of how intense and stressful our culture makes the holiday season, in order to resist that, we're going to have to make a pretty intentional choice to do so, and that might really test our boundary setting. It might look like saying no to some holiday parties if that's too much social activity for us. It might look like saying no to certain traditions that are just not worth the time and energy it takes to pull them off. I think each year that we get to the holiday season brings with us new challenges as we are growing and as the people who are in our lives are growing and changing. And the wisdom is to just be honest with who we are right now and who the people are in our lives right now. And it might be possible that what has worked for us in the past will no longer work for us. That doesn't mean that the holidays have to be any less special. There are so many ways to make the holiday season special if that's something that is important to us. And so it might look like just taking a look at the various traditions and practices that we have that make the holidays what they are for us. And if it feels like too much to take on, or if it feels like it would be overwhelming, then we can ask ourselves, what would be another way that I could approach the holiday season or approach this specific tradition that would still get at the essence of what that's giving me, but in a way that is more approachable given the season of life that I'm in. For example, my family this year, we now have multiple siblings who are married, and one has a little kid for the second year in a row, and we have decided to move our family Christmas to a different day other than Christmas, just because it's going to be a lot more achievable to get everybody together on a different day than it will be on Christmas Day. And of course that requires a sacrifice, but there would be a sacrifice in any given situation. Even if we tried to keep it on Christmas Day, that would also require sacrifices, because we wouldn't get to spend as much time together because other people need to go to other households. And so it's a sacrifice that's ultimately worth the goal, which is to spend more time together. And we could have made different decisions based on different goals. If we decided that spending any time at all together on Christmas Day was the goal, then we maybe wouldn't have moved the date. But for our family, that was not what was important this year. There may come a time in the years to come where we decide that that is the goal, or we may decide that what's more important is that we spend extended time on Thanksgiving together instead of Christmas, or something like that. And so all of these decisions and options when it comes to making the holidays more meaningful are always available to us, and sometimes we put unnecessary pressure on ourselves to do what we've always done, and what makes it more meaningful and more fulfilling will be to switch things up and find what's going to be best for us this year. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Voice Memos from a Therapist. I'm Graham McBride, a licensed professional counselor associate, and I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. Make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss our next memo when it comes out, always on Monday mornings. Just a reminder, the content in these podcasts is just my own opinions. They should not be considered therapeutic counsel or advice. And as always, I reserve the right to continue to learn and grow, as I hope that we all are. If you have further questions, feel free to find me on social media at gmc.counseling. This podcast is also available on YouTube if you're more of a video person, along with some longer form content. And finally, if you would like to learn more about what was discussed today, you can find more details in the show notes. As always, I hope you have an amazing day.